Hello. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. Should we sing them some of the songs that we were singing? Yes, happy Wednesday. On Wednesdays we wear pink. As you can see, I am wearing pink because that is what we do. I will also drink out of only pink cups. I'm just kidding. I would have drank out of a non-pink cup, but it just happens that I pulled a pink cup. You want to pick your head up, sweetheart? Yeah, you can have your head up. Yeah, take a nap, honey. Yeah. If I had one wish to make, this is the wish I would choose. Want an old straw hat, a suit of overalls, and a worn-out pair of shoes. Just let me roam around, laughing at big city blues. Amanda, the memo came out like 20 years ago with Mean Girls. What do you mean you missed the memo? An old straw hat, a suit of overalls, and a worn-out pair of shoes. Howdy, Mr. Brown. Ho, home. Going fishing? Hope you get a bite. Howdy, Mr. Jones. Oh, how's about a hayride Saturday? For sure. For sure. Just let me roam around, laughing at big city blues, with an old straw hat. Yeah, definitely got you a cup. Got a cup for everybody. I love making coffee for people, actually. It's, it's like it's a loving thing to do. Whenever anyone comes to my house, I always offer them. Some decline. I don't know why. Crazy people. And, it's a whole kit and caboodle. Honey, it's time for a nap. Everyone is out of creamer, apparently, Nicole. Or at least sugar-free creamer. All the stores are out of it. I couldn't get any. I had to, come up with an alternative. Supply chain issues. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to tuck this here because you keep putting your fingies too close to the rings and it makes Mommy nervous. Can you put your head in the middle, though? You think you can do that for me? What do you think? What do you think? Do you want to say hi, Aunt Karen? She just joined. Say hi, Aunt Karen. Hi, Aunt Karen. I'm here with Mommy while she makes coffee. Yeah. I've switched completely over to the truck. Yeah, basically that's what we've been doing. I mean, I'm just finishing up this, but yeah, after this is finished, that's basically what we're doing because we don't really have a choice. It's pretty good though. We own a hardware store. The distribution centers are empty. It is. It's hard right now. Yeah, I can't even imagine, Nicole. She is doing well. Thank you for asking. She is doing well. She does need a nap though, and she is determined to be lopsided today for some reason. You don't have to be lopsided, honey. You can be up here. Yeah, you can be up on Mommy. Yeah, how comfy is that? Let's figure this out. Why are we lopsided? There we go. That's better. You can control the tips. Yeah. No, it is good. It is good. I agree. If I had one wish to make, this just let me roam around, laughing at big city blues. With a big strong heart, a suit of overalls, and a worn-out pair of shoes. Howdy, Mr. Brown. Oh, oh. Going fishing? Hope you get a bite. Howdy, Mr. Jones. Oh, Alice got a hayride Saturday night. Oh, hey, Aunt Ellen. Aunt Ellen is in here, too. Say hi, sweet girl. Everybody you know is here today. Oh, fun. One of a handful of my favorite creators. Yes, thank you. Thank you. We are here all together. It's a group effort, you know. How's everyone doing this morning? It's Wednesday. Have we all made it through the first half of the week? Today we have baby class, you know. Yeah, we have baby class today. You're going to see your friend, huh? You have one friend. Only one person comes to class besides us. But that's okay. It's still useful. Yeah. Your friend went to Hawaii last week. We have to ask her today how it went, huh? We're going to say, hey, how was Hawaii, Zemi? And she's going to say, wow, it was crazy. I've never been on an airplane before because I'm a baby. And we're going to say, what was that like? And then she's going to tell us all about it. What do you think of that? That's probably how it's going to go. Yeah. 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 Yeah, my sweet girl. Yeah. It's okay to take a nap. You can do it. Nothing wrong with quality over quantity. Yes, we do wish that there were at least a few more because it would be nice to have, you know, a nice group of parents and babies, but it is what it is. There were supposed to be 8 families in the class, but, you know, or 6 families or something like that, but some are just not showing up, I guess, which is weird because it wasn't cheap. That is the crazy thing about it. Like, I can't believe the other families just are neglecting to show up, given how expensive it is. You know what I mean? It definitely wasn't cheap to sign up for it, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Good morning, Jillian. How are you today? How are you today, everybody? Let's go to the chair with our coffee. Oh, hi, Granger. How are you, sweetheart? Means you get more one-on-one connection. Yeah, that is true, but we did want like a little bit of socialization for her, you know? But you know, it is what it is. We were trying to socialize her because being an only child means she doesn't see other kids that much, especially right now when we don't live that close to my sister yet. Oh, how is it? Oh, what's the book? Morning, Christina. Oh no, your whole family's sick? Well, that's not good. It's not good at all. Can you pick up her face so I can at least see your airway? What do you think of that? What do you think of that? She does love the rainbow wrap. Rainbow wrap, oh, yours loves the rainbow wrap. I thought you were talking about mine. She should love the rainbow wrap. It's phenomenal. Tell her I said thank you. The rainbow wrap is our favorite too. It is our most used wrap. We use the rainbow wrap every day. Yeah, we will be moving closer to her. Yeah, definitely. They both love it. Yeah, we'll be moving closer to my sister and her kids so that the kids can play all the time. And my sister and I are planning to swap childcare days for both of us to be able to get more done. This is a Lenny Lamb wrap, actually. I got it from their like less than perfect sales section because I'm a cheapo, but it's still good quality, and like they still like stand by the integrity of it, but it has like some cosmetic imperfections, but like, what do I care? You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Yeah, it takes a village for sure. So my sister and I plan to do that. Her husband is a real estate agent and she works with him, so sometimes she needs to help him do showings and stuff on like Fridays. And so she was like, if you can take Ethan, my nephew who just turned 2 today, every Friday, I'll take your baby one of the other days and then we can just swap. Cosmic imperfections would be way more detrimental. Yes, we would be having many more problems. I think cosmetic imperfections,
don't bother me. Cosmic imperfections probably would bother me. You're right. Yeah. I think I could see how that would be an issue. Anyone who knows how to text me, can you text me 8:40? Because I'm pretty sure she is passed out. Yes, today is Ethan's birthday, which means that we have had book club for 2.5 years officially, because he's 2 and we started it when she was like 5 months pregnant or 6 months pregnant. Me too, Amanda. I'm like imagining what cosmic imperfections would be, like a black hole that like sucks only certain things in. I have a gorgeous rainbow wrap somewhere in my storage. Oh my god, are you serious? You don't, well, you know a girl who knows a girl. Anyone who knows how to text me. Yes, anyone who knows. If Liz is in here, I'm not sure if Liz is in here. You can put it on Patreon. That'll work. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll probably remember. I'm usually, if I say it out loud, I'm pretty good at remembering 8:40. And then I just mark it when we get off of here. But she is definitely asleep. She's a sleepy bean. Why are you getting rid of your wrap, Nicole? Do you not do wraps anymore? Or I guess because your Liz is in here. I think she's probably double watching us and the conclave. I think. Or Karen's here. Karen's gonna text me in the book club chat. Thank you. According to the people list, yeah, no. Full serious, I dig them out and I'll let you know. Yeah, let me know because Nicole, I'm thinking about getting certified, and so I would definitely need like ones in the sizes and types that I don't have in order to fulfill the class list of like supplies and whatever. So let's chit chat in the behind the scenes. What do we think my shoulder thing here is doing? Okay, you know what? She's asleep. I guess that's probably when I need it more than ever. Thank you, Karen. I see the text. That's perfect. Yeah, I forgot that your kids are all bigger. You're being a surrogate, so like you're not keeping the baby that you are working on right now, so you won't need it for the little. That is a perfect reason to get rid of them. Can I tell you guys? So like this is our only baby, and in all very very serious likelihood, she will be our only baby. But like being as obsessed with wraps as I am, I'm like, well, what am I gonna do when she's too big and then I won't have anyone else to wrap anymore? Maybe I need another one just in case so I can keep wrapping them. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I've been following your videos, Nicole. It's very cool. It's a very cool process. We definitely cannot afford a second child, but if we could, I would almost have one just so I could keep wrapping babies because I'm obsessed. You can get a kitten or a puppy draft. There you go. There you go. Small dog. Wrap the small dog. Yes, I will do that. Yeah, oh no, I'm gonna keep wrapping her until she won't let me anymore, Nicole. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. But the little one is so sweet, and I love the little baby cuddles. You know, some people, okay, so like my sister, for example, my sister likes toddlers better than babies because she's less worried about breaking them, and you know, she can talk to them, and that's amazing, Nicole. I want to see that. I should get an actual, well, I have to, if I take the class, wait, you guys, serious thing about what Christina just said about getting the doll. If I take the wrap certification class, I have to get a weighted doll for the class. So people are gonna literally be like, wait, I thought you said it was a real baby. I just saw a TikTok about a person wrapping the German Shepherd puppy. That's amazing. I mean, that's a good way to keep them calm, right? Yeah, I want to try a back carry with her, Nicole. I really do. You made your own weighted doll. Really? How'd you do that? I don't think I have that kind of skill. People do be wild, and they will lose their mind with me if I have a weighted doll. But you know, it is one thing you have to do, right, for the class. It's required. I know. You know what's so funny about her ears? They're exactly my ears. My husband was like, you have literally the same exactly, even like the shape of like her, like all the like swirls, you know, whatever. Apparently it's exactly the same as mine. I can't see mine obviously because it's on the side of my head, but my husband tells me that they're my exact ears, so it's pretty fun. She has his exact mouth shape. Soft body doll filled with rice and beans. There you go. That's a good way to do it. Her mouth is his exact, like she has like my lip color, but his exact shape of his mouth. And she has my eye shape, but his eye color. She's like literally a perfect split. It's really interesting. Really interesting. All right, well, guys, today we are starting part 2 of Mockingjay. Part 2. Yeah. The Assault. Chapter 10. Page 137 will begin after I attempt a sip of coffee. My throat is telling me it wants liquid, so we're gonna try. Can I do this without? Yes, please do, Nicole. Okay, I did it. All right. Tiffany, you came just in time. We're barely starting. Chapter 10, page 137. The scream begins in my lower back and it works my way up through my body only to jam in my throat. I am avox mute, choking on my grief. Even if I could release the muscles in my neck and let the sound tear into space, would anyone notice? The room is in an uproar. Questions and demands ring out as they try to decipher Peta's words. And you, in 13, dead by morning. Yet no one is asking about the messenger whose blood has been replaced by static. A voice calls to the others to attention. Shut up. And every pair of eyes falls on Hamish. It's not some big mystery. The boy's telling us that we're about to be attacked here in 13. And how would he have that information? Why should we trust him? How do you know that's what he's saying? Hamish gives a growl of frustration. They're beating him bloody while we speak. What more information do you need? Katniss, please help me out here. I have to give myself a shake to get free words. I have to give myself a shake to free my words. Hamish is right. I don't know where Peeta got the information or if it's true, but he believes it is. And I can't say aloud what Snow is doing to him. You don't know him, Hamish says to Coin. We do, so get your people ready. The president doesn't seem alarmed, only somewhat perplexed by this turn of events. She mulls over the words, tapping one finger lightly on the rim of the control board in front of her. And when she speaks, she addresses Hamish in an even voice. Of course, we have prepared for such a scenario, although we have decades of support for the assumption that further direct attacks on 13 would be counterproductive to the capital's cause. Nuclear missiles would release radiation into the atmosphere with incalculable environmental results. Even routine bombings could badly damage our military compound, which we know they do hope to regain. And of course, they invite a counterstrike then. It is conceivable that, given our current alliance with the rebels, those would be viewed as acceptable risks, I suppose. Yeah, you think so? Says Hamish. It's in a shade all too sincere, but the subtleties of his irony are often wasted in 13. I do. At any rate, we're overdue for a level 5 security drill, says Coin. Let's proceed with the lockdown. And she begins to type rapidly on her keyboard, authorizing her decision. The moment she raises her head, it begins. There have been 2 low-level drills since I arrived in 13. I don't remember much about the first. I was in intensive care in the hospital, but I think that the patients were exempt, and as the complications of removing us for the practice drill would have outweighed the benefits. I was vaguely aware of the mechanical voice instructing people to congregate in yellow zones, and during the second, a level 2 drill meant for minor crises, such a temporary quarantine while citizens were tested for contagion during a flu outbreak. We were supposed to return to our living quarters then, but I stayed behind in a pipe in the laundry room, and I ignored the pulsating beeps coming over the audio system, and I watched a spider construct a web. Neither experience has prepared me for the wordless, eardrumming, piercing, fear-inducing sirens that now permeate District 13. There would be no disregarding this sound, which seems designed to throw the whole population into a frenzy. But this is 13, and that doesn't happen. If Pandem is supposed to be North America, how's the rest of the world? I don't know. That is a great question, Susan. That's a great question. What is the rest of the world doing? Looking on, like, I don't know if you guys have seen a lot of the comments that have come about in, like, from people around the world in the news articles about what's going on in our country right now. Most of them, like, they're like looking in from France, wondering what's going on with you guys. How is this happening? You know what I mean? And I bet that's kind of what's going on here. They're like, what is happening over there? How are you guys? Whatever, you know. Or like if you guys have watched Handmaid's Tale, you know? They're trying to escape to other countries, all that stuff. Yikesies. Big yikes. Yeah, we're not, though, Amanda. Knock, knock, we're not okay in here. Like, I don't know if you guys saw, this is a really gut-wrenching thing to even talk about, but there was a 10-year-old victim of, you can imagine what, who got pregnant, and because of her being a victim, and she had to travel across 3 states, I think, to find a doctor who would help her with the situation because she's 10 years old, and the doctor is being charged by the state that she's from. Check that out. The doctor who helped this 10-year-old, it's a female doctor who was the only one who would help this girl, is being charged by the attorney general of the other state. That's disgusting, Cindy. That's gross. A teacher calling ICE on the students, that's gross. You're supposed to protect your students. How dare you? How dare you? That's horrific. I can't even fathom that. I would be hiding them in my own home. Bonkers. So yeah, to everyone in other countries asking if we're okay here in America, no. We are not. Oh, we were just talking about some stuff happening in America, Isabella. Luckily you're in England and it's not a problem for you. How can people hear that and think, yeah, literally how, Avery? I want to know the same thing. I think I saw a question about what we're reading after this book series, and we have 2 nonfiction books coming after this, and then we're going to finish the Princess Diaries series, and then we're open to new suggestions after that. Okay, let's get back to it. Oh my gosh, you're going home already? Didn't you just get there, Isabella? Well, that's a fast turnaround, jeez. I mean, how did the state find out about the girl? There was a whole article about it, Tiffany, and I can't remember off the top of my head. After this book is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is the first prequel. Oh, geez, Liz. They said they want to protect the unwritten. Yeah, literally. Oh, but 16 hours to get used to flying? That's so much. Jeez. All good to support children. Yeah, seriously. No, like, they're just destroying everything, Amanda, 100%. Boggs guides Finnick and me out of command and along a hallway to a doorway and on a wide stairway. Streams of people are converging to form a river that flows downward. No one shrieks or tries to pull ahead. Even the children don't resist. We descend, flight after flight, speechless, because no word could be heard above this sound. I look for my mother and Prim, but it's impossible to see anyone but those immediately around me. They're both working in the hospital tonight, though, so there's no way that they can miss the drill. My ears pop, and my eyes feel heavy. We are coal mine deep, and the only plus there is the farther we retreat into the earth, the less shrill the sirens become. It's as if they were meant to physically drive us away from the surface, which, I mean, I suppose they are. Groups of people begin to peel off into marked doorways, and still Boggs directs me downward, until finally, at the stair's end, the edge of an enormous cavern. I start to walk straight in, and Boggs stops me and shows me that I must wave my schedule in front of a scanner so that I'm accounted for. No doubt the information is going to some computer somewhere to make sure that no one has gone astray. The place seems unable to decide if it's natural or man-made. Certain areas of the walls are stone, while steel beams and concrete heavily reinforces other parts. Sleeping bunkers are hewn right into the rock walls, and there's a kitchen, bathrooms, and a first aid station. This place was designed for an extended stay. White signs with letters or numbers are placed in intervals around the cavern. As Boggs tells Finnick and me to report to the area that matches our assigned quarters, in my case, E for compartment E. Plutarch strolls up then. "Ah, here you are," he says. Recent events have had little effect on Plutarch's mood. He's still happily aglow from Beatty's success on the airtime assault, eyes on the forest, not on the trees, not on Peta's punishment or on 13's imminent blasting. Katniss, obviously this is a bad moment for you, what with Peta's setback and everything, but you need to be aware that others will be watching you. What? I say, and I can't believe that he's actually just downgraded PETA's dire circumstances to a setback. The other people in the bunker, they're going to be taking their cues on how to react from you, so if you're calm and brave, others will try to be as well. If you panic, it could spread like wildfire, Plutarch explains, and I just stare at him. Fire's catching, so to speak, he continues, as if I'm being slow on the uptake. Why don't I just pretend that I'm on camera then, Plutarch? I say. Yes, perfect. One is always braver when there's an audience, he says. Look at the courage that PETA just displayed. It's all I can do not to slap him then. I've got to get back to Coin before the lockdown. You keep up the good work, he says, and then he heads off. I cross to the letter E posted on the wall. Our space consists of a 12 by 12 foot of stone floor delineated by painted lines. Carved into the wall are 2 bunks. One of us will be sleeping on the floor. And a ground level cube space is there for storage. There's a piece of white paper coated in a clear plastic that reads Bunker Protocol, and I stare fixed at the little black specks on the sheet. For a while they're obscured by residual blood droplets that I can't seem to wipe from my vision. Slowly, the words come into focus. The first section is entitled On Arrival. Number 1, make sure all your compartments are Make sure all your compartment, capital C, are accounted for. So that must mean like people in the compartment because it's plural. It's not compartments, it's just compartment. Anyway, my mother and Prim haven't arrived, but I was probably one of the first people to reach the bunker. Both of them are probably helping relocate hospital patients. Number 2, go to the supply station and secure 1 pack for each member of your compartment. Ready your living area. Return packs. I scan the cavern until I locate the supply station, a deep room set off by a counter. People wait behind it, but there's not a lot of activity there yet. And I walk over and give our compartment letter and request 3 packs. A man checks a sheet, pulls the specified packs from the shelving, swings them up onto the counter, and after sliding one on my back and getting a grip on the other 2 with my hands, I turn to find a group rapidly forming behind me. Excuse me, I say as I carry my supplies through the others. All the people within your room. Yeah, I think you're right, Amanda. Is it a matter of timing, or is Plutarch right? Are these people modeling their behavior on mine? Back at our space, I open one of the packs to find a thin mattress, bedding, 2 sets of gray clothing, and a toothbrush, a comb, and flashlight. On examining the contents of the other packs, I find that only discernible difference is that they contain both gray and white outfits. The latter will be for my mother and Prim, in case they have medical duties. And after I make up the beds, store the clothes, and return the backpacks, I've got nothing to do but observe the last rule, which is number 3, await further instructions. I sit cross-legged on the floor to await, and a steady flow of people begins to fill the room, claiming spaces, collecting supplies. It won't take long until the place is full up, and I wonder if my mother and Prim are going to stay the night at wherever the hospital patients have been taken. But no, I don't think so. They were on the list here, and I'm starting to get anxious when my mother finally appears, and I look behind her to a sea of strangers. Where's Prim? I ask. Isn't she here? She replies. She was supposed to come straight down from the hospital. She left 10 minutes before I did. Where is she? Where could she have gone? I squeeze my lids shut for a moment, try to track her as I would prey on a hunt. See her react to the sirens, rush to help the patients, nod as they gesture for her to descend to the bunker, and then hesitate with her on the stairs, torn for a moment. But why? Why is she torn? And my eyes fly open. The cat! She went back for him. Oh no, my mother says, and we both know I'm right. We're pushing against the incoming tide, trying to get out of the bunker. Up ahead, I can see them preparing to shut the thick metal doors, slowly rotating the metal wheels on either side inward, and somehow I know that once they've been sealed, nothing in the world will convince the soldiers to open them. Perhaps it will even be beyond their control. I'm indiscriminately shoving people aside as I shout for them to wait. The space between the doors shrinks to a yard, a foot, and then there are only a few inches left when I jam my hand through a crack. Open it! Open it! Let me out! I cry. Consternation shows on the soldiers' faces as they reverse the wheel just a bit, not enough to let me pass, but enough to avoid crushing my fingers, and to take the opportunity to wedge my shoulder into the opening. Prim! I holler up the stairs, and my mother pleads with the guards as I try to wriggle my way out. Prim! Then I hear it. The faint sound of footsteps on the stairs. We're coming! I hear my sister call. Hold the door! That was Gail. They're coming, I tell the guards, and then they slide the doors open just about a foot, but I don't dare move, afraid that they'll lock us all out. And until Prim appears, her cheeks are flushed, running, hauling Buttercup along, and I pull her inside and Gale follows, twisting an armload of baggage sideways to get into the bunker. The doors are closed with a loud and final clank. What were you thinking? I give Prim an angry shake, and then I hug her, squashing Buttercup between us. Prim's explanation is already on her lips. I couldn't leave him behind, Katniss, not twice. You should have seen him pacing the room and howling. He'd come back to protect us. Okay. I take a few breaths to try to calm myself, and I step back, and I lift Buttercup up by the scruff of his neck. I should have drowned you when I had the chance. His ears flatten, and he raises his paw. I hiss before he gets a chance to, which seems to annoy him a little since he considers hissing his own personal sound of contempt. In retaliation, he gives a helpless kitten's mew that brings my sister immediately to his defense. Oh, Katniss, don't tease him, she says, folding him back into her arms. He's already so upset. The idea that I've wounded the brute's tiny cat feelings just invites further taunting, but Prim's genuinely distressed for him, so instead, I visualize Buttercup's fur lining a pair of gloves, an image that has helped me deal with him over the years. All right. We're under the big E on the wall. Better get him settled in before he loses it. Prim hurries off, and I find myself face to face with Gale. He's holding a box of medical supplies from our kitchen in 12, the site of our last conversation, our kiss, our fallout, whatever you want to call it. My game bag is slung across his shoulder. If Peeta's right, these didn't stand a chance, he says. Peeta, blood like raindrops on the window, like wet mud on boots. Thanks for everything. I take our stuff. What were you doing up in our rooms? I was just double checking, he says. We're in 47 if you need me. Practically everyone withdrew to their spaces when the doors shut, so I get across to our new home with at least 500 people watching me, and I try to appear calm to make up for my frantic crashing through the crowd. Like that's fooling anyone, though. So much for setting a good example. Oh, who cares? They all think I'm nuts anyway. One man, who I think I knocked to the floor, catches my eye and rubs his elbow resentfully. I almost hiss at him, too. Prim has Buttercup installed on the lower bunks, draped in a blanket so that only his face pokes out. This is how he likes to be when there's thunder, the one thing that actually frightens him. So my mother puts her box carefully in the cube, and I crouch, my back supported by the wall, to check on what Gale managed to rescue in my hunting bag. The plant book, the hunting jacket, my parents' wedding photos, and some of my personal contents from my drawer. The Mockingjay pin now lives with Cinna's outfit, but there is the gold locket and the silver parachute with the spile and Peeta's pearl. I knock the pearl into the corner of the parachute, and I bury it deep in the recesses of the bag, as if it's Peeta's life and I'm protecting it so that no one can take it away, as long as I guard it. The faint sound of sirens cuts off sharply. Coin's voice then comes over the district audio system. She's thanking us all for an exemplary evacuation of the upper levels. She stresses that this is not a drill, as Peeta Malark, the District 12 victor, has possibly made a televised reference to an attack on 13 tonight. And that's when the first bomb hits. There's an initial sense of impact followed by an explosion that resonates in my innermost parts, the lining of my intestines, the marrow of my very bones, and the roots of my teeth. We're all going to die, I think, and my eyes turn upward, expecting to see giant cracks race across the ceiling, massive chunks of stone raining down on us, but no. The bunker itself gives only a slight shudder. The lights go out, and I experience the disorientation of total darkness. Speechless human sounds, spontaneous shrieks, ragged breaths, baby whimpers, one musical bit of insane laughter dance around the edges of the charged air. And there's a hum of a generator. A dim, wavering glow replaces the stark lighting that is the norm in 13. It's closer to what we had in our homes in 12 when the candles in the fire were burned low on a winter's night. I reach for Prim in the twilight, and I clamp my hand on her leg, and I pull myself over to her. Her voice remains steady as she crosses the room to Buttercup. It's all right, baby. It's all right. We're gonna be okay down here. My mother wraps her arms around us, and I allow myself to feel young for a moment, and I rest my head on her shoulder. That was nothing like the bombs in 8, I say. Probably a bunker missile,
says Prim, keeping her voice soothing for the cat's sake. We learned about them during the orientation for new citizens. They're designed to penetrate deep into the ground before they go off. They're designed because there's no point in bombing 13 on the surface anymore. Yes, that's right. You definitely can't start reading too early. She's been in book club her whole life. Nuclear? I ask, feeling a chill run through me. No, not necessarily, says Prim. Some have just got a lot of explosives in them, but it could be either kind, I guess. The gloom makes it hard to see the heavy metal doors at the end of the bunker. Would they be any protection against a nuclear attack? And even if they were 100% effective at sealing out the radiation, which is really unlikely, would we ever be able to leave this place? The thought of spending whatever remains of my life in this stone vault horrifies me, and I want to run madly for the door and demand to be released into whatever lies above. And it's pointless. They would never let me out. I might start some kind of stampede. We're so far down that I'm sure we're safe, says my mother. She's thinking of my father being blown to nothingness in the mines, I suppose. It was a close call, though. Thank goodness PETA had the wherewithal to warn us. The wherewithal, a general term that somehow includes everything that was needed for him to sound the alarm. The knowledge, the opportunity, the courage, and something else I can't define. PETA seems to have been waging some sort of battle in his mind, fighting to get the message out, but why? The ease to which he manipulates his word is his greatest talent. Was his difficulty a result of his torture, or something more? Something like madness? Coyne's voice, perhaps a shade grimmer, fills the bunker then, the volume level flickering with the lights. Apparently, Peter Millark's information was sound, and we owe him a great debt of gratitude. Sensors indicate that the first missile was not nuclear, but very powerful. We expect more will follow. For the duration of the attack, citizens are to stay in their assigned areas, unless otherwise notified. The soldiers alert my mother that she's needed in the first aid station, and she's reluctant to leave us even though she'll only be 30 yards away. We'll be fine, really, I tell her. Do you think anything could get past this guy? I point to Buttercup, who gives me a half-hearted hiss, and we all have to laugh a little. Even I feel sorry for him. After my mother goes, I suggest, why don't you climb in with him, Prim? I know it's silly, but I'm afraid that the bunk might collapse during the attack, she says. And if the bunk collapses, the whole bunker will give away and bury us, but I decide this kind of logic won't be helpful to tell her, so instead I clean out a storage cube and I make a bed for Buttercup inside, and then I pull the mattress in front of it for my sister and me to share. We're given clearance in a small group to use the bathroom and brush our teeth, although showering has been canceled for the day. I curl up with Prim on the mattress, double layering the blankets because the cavern emits a dank chill. Buttercup, miserable even with Prim's constant attention, huddles in the cube and exhales cat breath into my face. Despite the disagreeable conditions, I'm glad to have time with my sister. My extreme preoccupation since I came here, no, really since the first games, has left little attention for her. I've been watching over her the way that I should. I haven't been watching over her the way that I should, or the way that I used to. After all, it was Gale who checked our compartment, not me. That's something to make up for. I realize that I never even bothered to ask her about how she's handling the shock of coming here. So, how are you liking 13, Prim? I offer. Right now? She asks, and we both laugh. I miss Home Valley sometimes, but then I remember there's nothing left to miss anymore, and I feel safer here. We don't have to worry about you. Well, not the same way. She pauses, and then a shy smile crosses her lips. I think you're going to train me to be a doctor here. It's the first I've heard of this. Well, of course they are. They'd be stupid not to train you. They've been watching me when I help out in the hospital, and I'm already taking medic courses. It's just the beginner stuff. I know a lot of it from home. Still, there's plenty to learn, she tells me. That's great, I say. Prim, a doctor. I couldn't even dream of it in 12. Something small and quiet like a match being struck lights up the gloom inside of me. This is the sort of future that a rebellion could bring for us. What about you, Katniss? How are you managing? Her fingertips move in a short, gentle stroke between Buttercup's eyes. And don't say that you're fine. It's true. I'm whatever the opposite of fine is. That's what I am. So I go ahead and I tell her about PETA, his deterioration on screen, and how I think they must be killing him at this very moment. Buttercup has to rely on himself for a while because now Prim turns her attention to me, pulling me closer and brushing the hair back behind my ears with her fingers. I've stopped talking because there's really nothing left to say. There's a piercing sort of pain where my heart is. Maybe I'm even having a heart attack, but it doesn't seem worth mentioning. Katniss, I don't think that President Snow will kill PETA, she says. Of course she says this. It's what she thinks will calm me down, but her next words come as a surprise. If he does, he won't have anyone left that you want, and he won't have any way to hurt you. Suddenly I'm reminded of another girl, the one who had seen all the evils of the capital that they had to offer. Joanna Mason, the tribute from District 7 in the arena. I was trying to prevent her from going into the jungle where the Jabberjays mimic the voices of the loved ones to be tortured, but she brushed me off by saying, "They can't hurt me. I'm not like the rest of you. There's no one left that I love." And that's how I know that Prim is right. Snow cannot afford to waste PETA's life, especially now while the Mockingjay caused so much havoc. He's killed Cinna already, destroyed my home, my family, Gale, and even Hamish are out of his reach. PETA is all he has left. So what do you think they're going to do to him? I ask. And Prim sounds about 1,000 years old when she speaks. Whatever it takes to break you.
Yikes. She's probably right. She is probably right. Prim is wise beyond her years, if you will.
Chapter 11, page 152. What will break me? This is the question that consumes me over the next 3 days as we wait to be released from our prison of safety. What will break me into a million pieces so that I'm beyond repair and beyond usefulness? I mention it to no one, but it devours my waking hours and it weaves itself through my nightmares.
Yeah, trauma does that. Trauma does age us all.
4 more bunker missiles fall over this period and massive, all very damaging attacks, but there's no urgency to them. The bombs are spread out over the long hours so that just when you think the raid is over, another blast sends a shock of waves through your guts. It feels more designed to keep us in lockdown than to decimate 13. Cripple the district, yes. Give the people plenty to do to get the pace running again, yes. But destroy it? No. Coyne was right on that point. You don't destroy what you want to acquire in the future, and I assume what they really want in the short term is to stop the airtime assaults that keep me off the television of Panem. And keep me off the televisions of Panem. We receive next to no information about what's happening. Our screens never come on, and we get only brief audio updates from Coyne about the nature of the bombs. Certainly, the war is still being waged, but as to its status, we're still in the dark. Inside the bunker, cooperation is the order of the day. We adhere to a strict schedule for meals and bathing, exercise and sleep. Small periods of socialization are granted to alleviate the tedium. Our space becomes very popular because both children and adults have a fascination with Buttercup. He attains celebrity status with his evening game of Crazy Cat. I created this by accident a few years ago during a winter blackout. You simply wiggle a flashlight beam around on the floor and Buttercup tries to catch it. I'm petty enough to enjoy it because I think it makes him look stupid, but inexplicably everyone in here thinks he's clever and delightful. I'm even issued a special set of batteries, an enormous waste, just to be used for this purpose. The citizens of 13 are truly starved for entertainment. It's on the 3rd night during our game that I answer a question eating away at me. Crazy Cat becomes a metaphor for my situation. I am Buttercup. PETA, the thing that I want so badly to secure, is the light. And as Buttercup feels he has the chance of catching the elusive light under his paws, he bristles with aggression. That's how I've been since I left the arena, with PETA alive. And when the light goes out completely, Buttercup's temporarily distraught, confused, but he recovers and moves on to other things. That's what would happen if PETA died. But the only thing that sends Buttercup into a tailspin is when I leave the light on, but put it hopelessly out of his reach, high on the wall, beyond even his jumping skills. He paces below the wall and wails, and can't even be comforted or distracted. He's useless until I shut off the light. That's what Snow is trying to do to me now, only I don't know what form his games take. Yeah, you want out? You want out? Yeah. You want out of your wrap? Yeah. Come here. You can come out. You can be out. Yeah. You're okay. Yeah. Maybe this realization on my part is all Snow needs. Thinking that Peeta was in his possession and being tortured for rebel information was bad, but thinking that he's being tortured specifically to incapacitate me is unendurable. It is under the weight of this revelation that I truly begin to break. After Crazy Cat, we're directed to bed. The power's been coming and going. Sometimes the lamps burn at full brightness, and other times we squint at one another in the brownouts. At bedtime, they turn the lamps to near darkness and activate the safety lights in each space. Prim, who's decided that the walls will hold up, snuggles with Buttercup on the lower bunk. My mother's on the upper one, and I offer to take a bunk, but they make me keep the floor mattress since I flail around so much when I'm sleeping. I'm not flailing now, as my muscles are rigid with the tension of holding myself together. The pain over my heart returns, and from it I imagine tiny fissures spreading out into my body, through my torso, down my arms and legs, and over my face, leaving a crisscross with cracks. One good jolt of a bunker missile, and I could shatter into a strange, razor-sharp shards. When the restless, wiggling majority has settled into sleep, I carefully extricate myself from the blanket and tiptoe through the cavern until I find Finnick, feeling for some unspecified reason that he's going to understand me. He sits under the safety light in his space, knotting his rope, not even pretending to rest. And as I whisper my discovery of Snow's plan to break me, it dawns on me. This strategy is very old news to Finnick, because it's what broke him. This is what they're doing to you with Annie, isn't it? I ask. Well, they didn't arrest her because they thought that she would be a wealth of rebel information, he says. They know I'd never have risked telling her anything like that, for her own protection. Oh, Finnick, I am so sorry, I say. No, I'm sorry that I didn't warn you, somehow, he tells me. And suddenly a memory surfaces, and I'm strapped to my bed, mad with rage and grief after the rescue. Finnick is trying to console me about Peeta. They'll figure out he doesn't know anything pretty fast, and they won't kill him if they think they can use him against you. You did warn me, though, on the hovercraft, only when you said that they'd be using Peeta against me, I thought you meant like bait, like to lure me into the capital somehow, I say. Yeah, I shouldn't have said even that. It was too late for it to be of any help to you. Since I hadn't warned you before the quarter quell, I should have just shut up about how Snow operates. Finnick yanks on the end of his rope, and an intricate knot becomes a straight line again. It's just that I didn't understand when I met you. After your first games, I thought that whole romance thing was an act on your part. We all expected that you'd continue that strategy, but it wasn't until Peeta hit the force field and nearly died that I... Finnick hesitates. And I think back to the arena, how I sobbed when Finnick revived Peeta, this quizzical look on Finnick's face, the way he excused my behavior, blaming it on my pretend pregnancy. That you what? I ask. That I knew I'd misjudged you and that you do love him, and I'm not saying that in a way like, maybe you don't even know it yourself, but anyone paying attention could see how much you care about him, he says gently. Anyone? On Snow's visit before the victory tour, he challenged me to erase any doubts of my love for Peeta. Convince me, Snow said. It seems, under that hot pink sky with Peeta's life in limbo, that I finally did, and in doing so I gave him the weapon that he so needed to break me. Finnick and I sit for a long time in silence, watching the knots bloom and then vanish, before I can ask, how do you bear it? Finnick looks at me in disbelief. I don't, Katniss. Obviously I don't. I drag myself out of nightmares each morning, and I find there's no relief in waking. Something in my expression stops him then. Better not give in to it, he says. It takes 10 times as much to put yourself back together as it does to fall apart. Well, he must know. I take a deep breath, forcing myself back into one piece. The more you know, the more you can distract yourself, the better you'll be, he says. First thing tomorrow, we're going to get you your own rope. Until then, here, take mine. You know what I just realized? Finnick is using a fidget tool, like slime or a fidget ring or whatever, to keep himself sane. His rope is a fidget. He's tying and untying a knot over and over and over again. And that's how he's keeping himself sane. Oof, bonk. You really have to bonk into mommy's jaw? Probably hurts me more than it hurts you. I spend the rest of the night on my mattress, obsessively making knots, holding them up for Buttercup's inspection. If one looks suspicious, he swipes it out of the air and bites it a few times to make sure it's dead. And by morning, my fingers are sore, but I'm still holding on. With 24 hours of quiet behind us, Coin finally announces that we can leave the bunker. Our old quarters have been destroyed by the bombings. Everyone must follow the exact directions to their new compartments. We clean our spaces as directed and file obediently toward the door. Before I'm halfway there, Boggs appears and pulls me from the line. He signals for Gale and Finnick to join us. People move aside to let us by, and some even smile at me since the crazy cat game seems to have made me more lovable. Out the door, up the stairs, and down the hall to one of those multi-directional elevators, and finally we arrive at Special Defense. Nothing along our route has been damaged, but we're still very in the deep. Boggs ushers us into a room virtually identical to Command. Coin, Plutarch, Hamish, Cressida, and everybody else around the table looks exhausted. Someone has finally broken out the coffee, although I'm sure it's viewed as an emergency stimulant. Plutarch has both hands wrapped tightly around his cup, as if at any moment this might be taken away. Right? Yeah, just fidgeting with that slime. There's no small talk. "We need all 4 of you suited and above ground," says the president. "You have 2 hours to get footage showing the damage of the bombings and establish that 13's military unit might remain functional but dominant, and most important, that the Mockingjay is still alive. Any questions?" Can we have coffee?" asks Finnick. Steaming cups are handed out, and I stare distastefully at the shiny black liquid. I've never been much of a fan of the stuff, but think it might help me stay on my feet. Finnick sloshes some cream into my cup and reaches into the sugar bowl. "Want a sugar cube?" he asks in his old, seductive voice. That's how we met, with Finnick offering me sugar, surrounded by horses and chariots, costumed and painted for the crowds. This was before we were allies, before I had any idea what made him tick. The memory actually coaxes a smile out of me. "Here, it improves the taste," he says in his real voice, plunking 3 cubes into my coffee. As I turn to go suit up as the Mockingjay, I catch Gale watching me and Finnick unhappily. What now? Does he actually think something's going on between us? Maybe he saw me go to Finnick's last night. I would have passed the Hawthorne space to get there. I guess that probably rubbed him the wrong way, me seeking out Finnick's company instead of his. Well, fine. I've got rope to burn on my fingers, and I can barely hold my eyes open, and a camera crew's waiting for me to do something brilliant. And Snow? He's got PETA. Gale can think whatever he wants. In my new remake room in Special Defense, my prep team slaps me into my Mockingjay suit, arranges my hair, and applies minimal makeup before my coffee has even cooled. In 10 minutes, the cast and crew of the next Propose are making a circuitous trek outside, and I slurp my coffee as we travel, finding that the cream and sugar do greatly enhance its flavor. As I knock back the dregs of what have settled to the bottom of the cup, I feel a slight buzz start to run through my veins. After climbing a final ladder, Boggs hits a lever that opens a trap door. Fresh air rushes in, and I take big gulps, and for the first time, I allow myself to feel how much I hated the bunker. We emerge into the woods, and my hands run through the leaves overhead. Some are just starting to turn. "What day is it?" I ask no one in particular, and Boggs tells me that September begins next week. September. That means that Snow has had PETA in his clutches for 5, maybe 6 weeks, and I examine a leaf on my palm as I see that I'm shaking. I can't will myself to stop. I blame the coffee, and I try to focus on slowing my breathing, which is far too rapid for my pace. Debris begins to litter the forest floor. We come to our first crater 30 yards away, and I can't tell how deep it is. Very. Boggs says that anyone on the first 10 levels would likely have been killed. We skirt the pit and continue on. "Can you rebuild it?" Gale asks. "Oh, not anytime soon. That one didn't get much. A few backup generators and a poultry farm," says Boggs. "We'll just seal it off." The trees disappear as we enter the area inside the fence. The craters are ringed with a mixture of old and new rubble. Before the bombing, very little of the current 13 was above ground. A few guard stations, a training area, about a foot on top of the top floor building where Buttercup's window jutted out, with several feet of steel on top of it. Even that was never meant to withstand more than a superficial attack. "How much of an edge did the boys' warning give?" asks Hamish. About 10 minutes before our own systems would have detected the missiles." "But it did help, right?"
I ask, and I can't bear if he says no. Oh, absolutely, Boggs replies. Civilian evacuation was completed. Seconds count when you're under attack. 10 minutes means lives were saved. Prim, I think, and Gale. They were in the bunker only a couple of minutes before the first missile hit. Peeta might have saved them, added their names to a list of things that I could never stop owing him for. Cressida has the idea to film me in front of the ruins of the old Justice Building, which is something of a joke since the Capitol's been using that as a backdrop for fake news broadcasts over the years to show that the district no longer existed. And now, with the recent attacks, the Justice Building sits about 10 yards from the edge of a new crater. As we approach what used to be the grand entrance, Gale points out something and the whole party slows down. I don't know what the problem is at first, and then I see the ground strewn with fresh pink and red roses. Do not touch them, I yell. They're for me. The sickeningly sweet smell hits my nose, and my heart begins to hammer against my chest. So I didn't imagine it, the rose on my dresser. Before me lies Snow's second delivery. Hey, what's the matter, baby? What's the matter? What's the matter, sweetheart? What's the matter? Ooh, you dropped your phone on your foot. That's not good. That's not good. Hey, do we need this? Are we a little drooly? Are we a little drooly pants? Yeah, we're little drooly pants? Okay, you can come out of the wrap. You can come out. Out. You want to sit in your bouncy? You want to sit in your bouncy? Yeah. There you go. Whee! There you go. Hi, pretty girl. Yes. Okay, let's finish. We're almost done with this chapter, huh? Long stem pink and red beauties, the very flowers that decorated the set where Peeta and I performed our post-victory interview. Flowers not meant for one, but for a pair of lovers. I explain to the others as best I can. Upon inspection, they appear to be harmless, but if genetically enhanced flowers. There's 24 roses here, slightly wilted, most likely dropped after the last bombing. A crew in special suits collects them and carts them away, and I feel certain that they will find nothing extraordinary in them, though. Snow knows exactly what he's doing to me. It's like having Cinna beaten to a pulp while I watch from my tribute tube, designed to unhinge me. But then I try to rally and fight back. As Cressida gets Castor and Pollux into place, I feel my anxiety building. I'm so tired, so wired, so unable to keep my mind on anything but Peeta since I've seen the roses. The coffee was a huge mistake. What I didn't need was a stimulant. My body is visibly shaking and I can't seem to catch my breath. After days in the bunker, I'm squinting no matter what direction I turn. The light hurts, and even the cool breeze, the sweat trickles down my face. So what exactly do you need from me again? I ask. Oh, just a few quick lines to show that you're alive and still fighting, says Cressida. Okay, I take my position, and then I'm staring into the red light, staring. I'm sorry, I've got nothing. And Cressida walks up to me. You feel okay? I nod, and she pulls a small cloth from her pocket and she blots my face. How about we do a Q&A? Yeah, that would help, I think. And I cross my arms to hide the shaking, and I glance at Finnick, who gives me a thumbs up, but he's looking pretty shaky himself. Cressida's back in position now. So, Katniss, you've survived the Capitol's bombings of 13. How did it compare with what you experienced on the ground in 8? Well, we were so far underground this time that there was no real danger. 13's alive and well, and so am I. My voice cuts off in a dry, squeaky sound. Try that line again, says Cressida. 13's alive and well, and so am I. I take a breath and try to force air down my diaphragm. 13's alive and well, and so... No, that's wrong. I swear, I can still smell the roses. Katniss, this is just one line, and then you're done today. I promise, says Cressida. 13 is alive and well, and so am I. I swing my arms to loosen myself and place my fists on my hips. I drop them to my side, then saliva filling my mouth at a ridiculous rate, and I feel the vomit at the back of my throat. I swallow hard to keep my mouth open so that I can get the stupid line out and go hide in the woods, and that's when I start to cry. It's impossible to be the Mockingjay, impossible to complete this one sentence, because I know that everything I say will be directly taken out on Peeta. The result will be his torture, but not his death. No, nothing so merciful as death. Snow will ensure that his life will be much worse than death. Will ensure that his life will be much worse than death. Plutarch says under his breath. She's figuring out how Snow is using PETA, says Finnick. There's something like a collective sigh of regret from the semicircle of people spread out before me, because I know this now, because there will never be a way for me to not know this again, because beyond the military disadvantage of losing the Mockingjay and what that entails, I am broken. Several sets of arms would embrace me, but in the end, the only person who I truly want to comfort me is Hamish, because he loves PETA too. So I reach out for him and I say something like his name, and there he is, holding me and patting my back. Hey, it's okay. It will be okay, sweetheart. He sits me on the length of a broken marble pillar and keeps an arm around me while I just sob. I can't do this anymore, I say. Oh, I know, he says. It's what are they gonna do? PETA, because I'm the Mockingjay. I finally get out. I know. Hamish's arms are tight around me. Did you see how weird he acted? What are they doing to him? I'm gasping for air between sobs, but I barely manage the last phrase. It's my fault. And then I cross some line into hysteria, and there's a needle in my arm, and the world slips away. It must be strong, whatever they shot into me, because it's a full day before I come to. My sleep was not peaceful, though. I have the sense of an emerging from a world, from dark, haunted places where I travel alone, and Hamish sits in the chair beside me. His skin is waxen, his eyes are bloodshot, and I remember about PETA, and I start to tremble again. Hamish reaches out, bless you, and squeezes my shoulder. Hey, it's all right. We're gonna get PETA out. We're gonna try. What? That makes no sense. Plutarch is sending a rescue team. He has people on the inside, and he thinks that we can get PETA back alive, he says. Why didn't we do that before, I say? Because it's costly. Everyone agrees that this is the thing to do, but it's the choice that we made in the arena, to do whatever it takes to keep you going. We cannot lose the Mockingjay now, and you can't perform unless you know that Snow can't take it out on PETA. Hamish offers me a cup. Here, drink something. I slowly sit up and I take a sip of water. What do you mean, costly? He shrugs. Covers will be blown. People might die. But keep in mind that they're dying every day, and it's not just PETA. We're going to get Annie out for Finnick, too. Where is he? I ask. Behind that screen, sleeping off his sedative. He lost it after we knocked you out, says Hamish. I smile at that a little, feeling a little bit less weak. Yeah, it was really excellent. It was a really excellent shoot. You two cracked up, and Boggs left to arrange the mission to get PETA. We're officially in reruns. Well, if Boggs is leading it, I guess that's a plus, I say. Oh yeah, he's on top of it. It was volunteer only, but he pretended not to notice me waving my hand in the air, says Hamish. See, he's already demonstrated good judgment as a leader. Something's wrong. Hamish is trying a little too hard to cheer me up. It's really not, bless you, really not his style to do so. So, who else volunteered? I think there were 7 altogether, he says evasively, and I get a bad feeling in the pit of my stomach. Who else volunteered, Hamish? I insist. And Hamish finally drops the good-natured act. You know who else volunteered, Katniss. And you know who stepped up first. Of course I do. Gale. It can never be easy. It can never be easy. Yeah. Yeah. So Gale has volunteered to go save PETA. I know, honey, I know. I know. Yeah, tell me about it, kiddo. Tell us what you think. I'm nervous too. Yeah, I'm nervous too, Avery. I know. And it's interesting because it's not really a love triangle, right, Amanda? It's like a friendship triangle. I mean, like, there is some love to it, but it started as not that, which, like, makes it even harder, you know? God. Hits you right in the feels. Hits you right in the feels. Love and heart. Yeah, no, for sure. What else do you want to tell everybody? Go ahead. Tell us what you think of the chapter. Yeah, I think Susan's right. I think when it comes to toes, you just have to wrap the broken toe to the next toe. I think that's pretty much all you can do, which I know is not great and it doesn't help, but I think that's the truth, if I understand correctly the situation. You just, like, do one of these, you know? Sure, yeah, unless it's the big toe. That's fair, yeah. Then I guess you could get a tiny little cast, or you could get a splint. You would get a splint if it was the big toe, right? One of those little blue ones that they put on fingers, yeah.
Tell us more. What else do you have to say, honey? What else do you have to say?
As someone who had a broken toe, yes, that's how they do it. Yeah, I think you have to get medical tape, Roxy, or like not gauze. What's that stuff called that they put on knees when you have an injury or whatever?
What is it called, honey? What is it called? Do you want to tell them all about your new sounds that you make? Do you want to tell them all your new sounds? You have such good sounds now. I mean, you've always had good sounds, but let's see what else. Let's see what else. So, woo! Okay. Do you want to say... But you already know you got through it once, Isabella, right? So good. KT tape, that's a good one. That's not what I was thinking of, but that's a great option. Yeah, KT tape would be good. Yeah. Okay. Yes, we're going to feel better about the chapter. Okay, tell us everything. You want to say, hi. 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 Good smile. Good smile, my angel. Hello.
Ace bandage, that's what I was thinking of. Thank you.
Hello. Hello. Hi. Hi. Your sleeve is all wet from your droolies. We're gonna have to get you a new sleeve. Hi. Hi. Yeah? You don't want to talk? You don't have to. It's okay. You don't have to. Did your mommy kiss your toesies? Did your mommy use a telephone on your toesies? Hello? Who's there? Is it my baby? You think that's silly? Ooh. What is that sound?
She went like this.
That was wild, huh? That is a fire truck. I could see it out the window. Yeah. Let's release these feeties. Yee. Hi. Okay. I don't know off the top of my head what kind of live we have tonight. I'm sure we have something, but I don't know what. Tomorrow is definitely Roll for Slime. What else is going on? More orders are shipping today. Blah, 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 blah. Ooh, compression sock. That's smart. More slime videos of the slimes from the pre-order will be going up so you guys can see those. I have Flounder ready to go, so I have to edit that video for y'all. And half of Aurora is done being made, so I gotta make the other half, and then I can pack that tomorrow. And who else did I make yesterday? Slime arrival day for you. Yes, that's exciting with your Roll for Slime. Ooh, fun one. So you get Belle. Belle is such a bop. I'm hoping in my delivery from Dope Slimes today there's more yellow clay, and if there is, I will try to make more Belle for the people, because like everybody wanted to buy extra Belle, and so I'm out of yellow clay right now. But if I get more, so Dope Slimes, they basically just give me whatever clay they have in stock because they don't always have all the colors. I asked for more yellow, but I have to cross my fingers and open the bag to see, or the box to see if there's yellow in it. If there is yellow, I promise to make another batch of Belle so that people who wanted duplicates of Belle could have more, because as Jen said, like a lot of people love it, and some people have already been like using theirs as their stress slime at work, and that means it'll die sooner. So I promise to make more as long as I can get the clay. I found out today that Rico brand baby wipes will take slime alcohol. Really? Well, that's interesting. Huh. Baby, will you message me that, Susan, so I can get it and we can do a test on video? That's so cool. I 100% want to try that. That's amazing. I will order some and I will try it on camera. That will be so cool. Is that cool? I wonder what could be in a baby wipe that would do that. How interesting. How interesting. Huh. It's got to have something, right? It can't be a water wipe. You get them at Costco? Okay, cool. We have a Costco near here. Oh, you're done. You want food. Okay, I'm going to go feed the baby, and I will see you all later. Have a great day, guys.